Flying for vacation is really cool, so don't let icing leave you in the cold. Welcome back to Grant's Pilot Advice, and this is Juice. It's getting close to Christmas and New Year's, and you may have plans to fly somewhere for vacation. The problem is, around this time, it's starting to get cold, and icing can really become a factor. So before you start your rest and relaxation, let's get you refreshed on icing avoidance. Let's do a quick review of icing. Icing is dangerous. We need smooth airflow over the wing to generate lift and keep us in the air. Icing disrupts the smooth airflow because it makes the surface rough and does not allow air to stick to and flow smoothly over the wing. This can lead to a loss of lift, it adds drag, and it adds weight. NASA has a great resource which talks all about icing. You should really check it out, and I've got it linked below. Their research shows that you can lose 25 to 30% of your lift capability with just 2 minutes of ice accumulation. So it's really important to take the proper precautions. First, you can't take off unless you have completely clean wings. Any contamination on the wing will reduce aircraft performance. This includes snow, ice, or even frost. Snow can be brushed off the wings, but any remaining ice must be removed. This can be done using approved de-ice fluids, and in the case of a thin layer of frost, even sun exposure can remove frost from a wing. Only when all of the contamination has been removed from the wing is it okay to go flying. Remember that ice can form when the air temperature is above freezing, because the temperature of the aircraft's surface may be below freezing. Water that impacts the surface of the aircraft can freeze and form ice. Your POH may specify the capabilities of your aircraft for flight into known icing conditions. For example, Section 2 in the Cessna Skyhawk POH specifically states that flight into known icing conditions is prohibited. If your POH does not specify a certification for flight into known icing, assume that your aircraft is not certified and do not fly into known icing conditions. The only ice protection on most small general aviation airplanes is pitot heat and carburetor heat, which will not help you in the event of structural icing. AirMets, SIGMETs, and center weather advisories can forecast and warn you about icing conditions. Remember to do a weather briefing before you fly so you know where icing or conditions favorable to icing are forecast. Using the icing tab on the Graphical Forecast for Aviation tool at aviationweather.gov, you can easily find AirMets, SIGMETs, and center weather advisories related to icing. Here's a SIGMET for icing for Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and Eastern Indiana from earlier this morning. The first 4 lines identify a SIGMET designated Romeo 1, which is valid starting on the 20th day at 11:48 Zulu until the 20th day at 15:48 Zulu, and which stations are reporting the SIGMET. The states affected are Ohio, West Virginia, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. The next line shows the exact bounds of the SIGMET using distance and direction from the airport or navigate. The body of the SIGMET says occasional severe clear icing in clouds and precipitation between 8,000 feet and 19,000 feet, and this is reported by aircraft. These conditions are continuing beyond 15:48 Zulu. So what does this mean? If you're flying in this area during the valid time, expect conditions favorable to icing in the block of altitude specified. Conditions are expected to continue beyond the 4-hour validity period of the SIGMET, so if you're flying in this area later in the day, be aware there could still be potential for icing. Another way to identify icing conditions is through pilot reports or PIREPs. Pilots report icing to air traffic control, and this is then shown on the Graphical Forecast for Aviation map using these icons. In the air, avoid areas of visible moisture and low air temperatures. Forecasts can identify areas of potential icing conditions, but are advisories and may be limited. If you do find yourself in icing conditions, climb, descend, or just maneuver to get yourself out of there as soon as possible. Do not let any ice accumulate, as this can lead to a wing or even a tailplane stall. Just be careful and be aware of your surroundings. As a courtesy, you can issue a PIREP and notify air traffic control of the icing conditions, and this will help other pilots avoid that area. Remember that ice can form in the carburetor due to moisture in the air. Air flowing through at high speed can cause this moisture to freeze. A rough running engine and reduced RPM are some potential signs of carburetor icing. If you suspect carburetor icing, turn on your carburetor heat. This will melt the ice. You'll experience a momentary reduction in engine RPM, followed by restoration of full engine power. We know the dangers of icing, but we also know how we can avoid it. Being cognizant of the potential for icing can help you on your flight. Don't be afraid to cancel your flight due to potential icing conditions. It's always better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than in the air wishing you were on the ground. Be smart, don't push your luck, make the right decisions, and get to your destination so you can actually enjoy your vacation. Got any questions? Leave me a comment. I'm always taking suggestions for future videos. Leave a like on this video and share with someone who needs to be reminded about icing this holiday season. Subscribe to my channel and check out another video while you're there. Thanks so much for watching. Fly safe, have a happy new year, and never stop learning. Time for vacation. Oh shoot, I still have to pack. Another way of identifying icing conditions is through PIREPs or pilot reports. Pirates, arg, there be icing ahead.